Grok 4 from Elon Musk is already one of the strongest models on the board. If you've only used ChatGPT and the rest of AI still feels intimidating, this is your fast track from 0 to Pro. Open your Grok and repeat after me. Here, I've combined everything into one video. I'll teach you how to correctly write prompts, use voice mode, create custom instructions, and much more. To get started with Grok 4, head over to grok.com and sign in or sign up. In fact, XAI calls it the most intelligent model in the world. Bold claim, but they backed it by training Grok 4 to use tools natively like a web browser or code interpreter whenever it needs them. We'll see all that in action as we go. Now, if you don't pay for the subscription, you will still get access to the Grok 4, but you'll only get limited features, so to get the full advantage, I recommend getting a $30 a month subscription. Then you'll have no cap on messages and get all the new features on day one. After you reach the limit of free responses, Grok will switch to the Grok 3 model. It's smart and fast, but not as capable as Grok 4, but you definitely feel this change in the quality of responses, so the subscription is the way to go here. Grok looks a lot like its peers at first glance. Input box, few toggles for extra features, icons for file uploads, and quick switches for personas or workspaces. But before we jump into chatting, a bit of setup will make your life easier. First, choose your response style. Click your profile picture in the left, bottom of sidebar, go to Settings, Customize. Grok comes with 3 ready-made response styles: custom, concise, formal, and Socratic. Concise gives short, to-the-point answers. Formal sounds more business-like, think office email tone. Socratic explains things in a question and answer teaching style. Each preset actually shows the hidden prompt it uses. Basically, a few instructions that shape Grok's tone. Take a minute to read those. They are perfect templates for how you might instruct the AI. If none of these fit your taste, switch to custom and type in your own style instructions. You can tell Grok who it should act as. You are a friendly tutor, what tasks it should focus on, and what tone or format you prefer. The more detail you give here, the better Grok's responses will match what you want. This custom style will then apply to every response by default, so it's a huge time saver. Next, lock down your data settings. In Settings, find Data Controls. I strongly recommend turning off the option that says anything like use your conversations to improve the model. In Grok, this might be phrased as improve the model. Flip that off if you're working with sensitive or private info. Also consider disabling Personalize Grok with your conversation history for now. That feature is still in beta. In theory, it lets Grok learn from your past chats to personalize responses, but in practice, it can make answers less predictable, especially if you mix work topics and personal questions in one account. I keep it off to ensure each query starts fresh. Third, connect your cloud storage. Grok can integrate with Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive so it can fetch files directly without manual uploads. Still in the data controls or integration settings, look for an option to link Google Drive or OneDrive. Log in and authorize that. This way, if you need Grok to analyze a document or spreadsheet from your drive, you can just reference it instead of uploading. It's a huge convenience for research workflows. Plus, Grok keeps a log of every file or asset you've given it access to, usually also under data controls. You can review and delete those anytime you want Grok to forget a particular file. Privacy and control from the get-go sorted. The updated interface offers 3 primary modes, which you can switch by clicking the large button next to the paperclip. Auto mode, automatic selection of method. Grok itself decides which model or approach to use based on your question. This gives Grok full control over model selection and whether to answer simply or in detail as needed. In auto mode, the assistant might use quick reasoning for simple queries or invoke deeper research for complex questions, all without you toggling anything manually. Fast mode uses the Grok 3 model to provide speedy, straightforward answers for short or simple queries. This is ideal when you want a fast response and don't need an in-depth analysis. Expert mode uses the more powerful Grok 4 model to produce thorough and thoughtful answers for complex or technical questions. This expert mode engages advanced reasoning and deeper analysis to give postgraduate level responses on difficult problems. For subscribers of the highest tier, Super Grok Heavy, there is a heavy mode that employs the Grok 4 Heavy model. This mode can tackle highly complex tasks, like extensive coding projects or detailed research audits, by using multiple reasoning agents in parallel. Heavy mode is only available to users with the appropriate subscription. Alright, customization done. Now let's get into actually using Grok 4 effectively, starting with the most important skill, prompting. AI changes daily. One week it's press the deep research button, next week the button is gone and everything's auto. If you're tired of piecing this together from random tutorials, here's what I used to stay sane. I put everything into AI Master Pro, an all-in-one plan with a clear path and new video lessons every week. Inside you'll find the foundations that actually matter, practical automation playbooks, advanced prompting, how to build your own AI clone, even crafting a natural sound and AI voice, and that's just the surface. And I'm not alone.
And I've been following AI Master for like 6 months or so, like for a while. And I finally gave the pro course a shot, and it really helped me to get my little agency moving. And big respect and big shout out to the course, and it changed the game for me and changed the life for me.
Thank you for the AI Master Pro.
Big shout out to AI Master.
Thank you for the AI Master Pro course.
You also get access to built-in tools, Talk to AI Master, Art Studio, Voice Booth, Deep AI Research, so you're not tab surfing all day. And yes, there is a community, pro chat, case boards, partner perks, and a weekly digest so you never fall behind. So one space, weekly updates, tools, access to 50 plus PDF guides. We're offering up to 50% off right now. Hit the link, claim your discount, and join AI Master Pro. One of the first things I noticed with Grok 4 is how much better it is at following instructions to the letter. Grok 3 wasn't bad at this, but it had a tendency to add its own flair or sometimes ignore little format requests. With Grok 4, XAI seems to have tightened the reins. The model still has personality. You'll catch a witty aside here and there, but it respects your instructions much more reliably. If you specify a tone, format, or constraint, it generally sticks to it without wandering off. For example, I tried a prompt, explain the theory of relativity in 3 bullet points, casual tone, and end with a light joke. Grok 4 gave exactly 3 bullet points, nailed the casual voice, and ended with a cheesy joke about time flying. Perfect. Be bold and specific in your prompts. If you want a 5-paragraph essay with an intro and conclusion, say exactly that. If you need a friendly tone with a dash of sarcasm, spell it out. Grok 4 will usually oblige. In fact, my new motto with Grok is, if you can imagine the format, you can prompt it. I've done haiku summaries, Socratic Q&As, top 10 lists in table format, you name it. And Grok 4's adherence is spot on. Setting your prompts up this way cuts confusion and keeps the output steady. Grok isn't left guessing what you want. You've told the shape of the answer. The clearer your instructions, the better Grok performs. Remember, it's not a mind reader, it's an extremely advanced pattern completer. Clear in, clear out. Of course, it's not foolproof. If your instructions are ambiguous or conflicting, Grok can still get confused. For instance, if you say, give me a brief and detailed summary, well, you'll get an average summary because it's trying to do both. You are the boss, so tell this thing exactly what you want. Use that to your advantage by crafting clear, detailed prompts. It's surprisingly good at taking orders now. One more basic tip, drop the fluff in your prompts. No need for please, maybe, could you, or long apologies to the AI. It's polite, sure, but those extra words just add noise. A straight command like summarize this article in 2 paragraphs is much cleaner and leaves less to chance. You're not being rude to a human. You are given precise instructions to a tool. So cut the filler, be direct, and Grok will actually respect that and get to the point. Once you've got the basics, it's time to level up your prompting for more complex tasks. Grok 4 excels when you feed it rich context and break tasks into manageable steps. Don't be shy about giving it more background and guidance than you might give ChatGPT. Grok will use it. Add specific context about you or the scenario. The more Grok knows about your end goal or audience, the better it can tailor its answer. For example, instead of just asking, explain photosynthesis, you'd do better to say, I am a 10th grade biology teacher. Explain photosynthesis in a fun way I can present to my class in about 200 words. Now Grok knows your role, the tone, fun for a class, and the length. It's far more likely to nail the answer on the first try. In fact, you can literally prompt with a mini bio or scenario, I am a high school student who needs a short outline on gut microbiome research, or I want a 500-word funny story about space travel. This way, Grok isn't forced to guess your intent. You've set the stage. Break big requests into small steps. If you have a complex, multi-part task, don't shove it all into one giant prompt. Grok might get overwhelmed or confused trying to do everything at once. Instead, split the job into logical chunks and tackle them one by one. This approach is often called iterative refinement. Let's say you're writing a history essay. First prompt, provide a broad outline of the French Revolution in 5 to 6 bullet points. Wait for my feedback. Grok gives you a bullet list of key events. Then you follow up with, great, now expand each bullet into a paragraph with key dates and events. Aim 100 words per paragraph. Boom, you get a multi-paragraph detailed draft. Doing it step by step helps Grok focus and ensures it doesn't choke on a wall of instructions. Structure first, full draft next. By nudging Grok along in stages, you maintain control over the content and depth at each step. You can even tell Grok in one prompt to follow steps in sequence and pause for your approval. Step 1, make an outline, then stop. Step 2, wait for me to review, then proceed with writing each section. Just be sure to phrase it clearly, like, after these edits, proceed with the next step, so Grok knows to pause. Provide examples for it to mimic. Grok 4 is multimodal and pretty good at style mimicry. If you want output in a very particular style and format, show it a sample. You can either attach a file using the paperclip icon or paste a snippet directly into your prompt. Suppose you need Grok to write a blog post that sounds like you. You might say, here's a short example of how I write my video scripts, and then paste a few paragraphs of your own writing. Follow that with, please write a similar script about prompt engineering for Claude. Now Grok will analyze your example's tone, structure, and quirks, and then attempt to mirror that style in its output. This trick is gold for keeping consistency across content. Works for formal stuff too. Show it a properly formatted memo or report and ask it to produce something similar with new content. By giving Grok a template to follow, you shortcut the need to explicitly describe the style. Reset context for self-editing. Here's a pro tip. If you want Grok to critique or improve something it wrote, did in a new chat thread. Grok, like other LLMs, has a conversation memory that can introduce bias. If you ask it, can you improve the above text? In the same thread, it might be influenced by the conversation's history. Instead, open a brand new chat and paste the text fresh. Then prompt, please critique this text's clarity and style. Suggest ways to make it sound better. Because the new chat has zero memory of earlier drafts, Grok will review the text with clear eyes and no preconceptions. I do this all the time with my own writing. It's like getting an unbiased editor. Grok will point out repetitive phrases, run-on sentences, or sections that are unclear and recommend changes. It's a quick way to sharpen up your work. Now for one of my favorite upgrades. Grok 4 has native tool use baked right into its training. This is a big deal. What it means is that Grok can use external tools on its own to help answer your questions. The two primary tools to know about are web search and a code interpreter. Essentially, Grok 4 can Google things. Well, technically use xAI's real-time search API and run Python code as part of answering you. And it does this internally without you needing to invoke plugins or hit special buttons. I was planning a little road trip and asked Grok, how bad is the traffic on Highway 1 right now, and when's the best time to leave? In the chat, I didn't do anything special, just the question. Grok 4 automatically performed a web search for current traffic conditions. I saw brief notifications stating assessing traffic conditions and exploring real-time updates as it retrieved live data. Then it provided a response detailing closures, restrictions, congestion, and incidents. And in the end, I see to minimize delays in weekdays like today. Recommended departure times is early morning before 7:10 a.m., mid-morning to early afternoon, after 9 a.m. until around 3 p.m. in evening, after 7:30 p.m. Beyond web search, the code interpreter is another silent helper. If you ask a complex math question or request data analysis, Grok might spin up a Python snippet in the background. For example, I provided it with a data set of daily stock prices for a company over the past year and asked for trend analysis, including moving averages, volatility measures, and forecasts using linear regression. Grok 4 computed the stats accurately, identified key patterns, and even plotted a chart of the trends, presumably by using an internal code execution tool. It formatted the results in a clean table. This hints that under the hood, Grok 4 ran some code to ensure accuracy. Musk had the model run code to crunch benchmarks and even assist in video game development scenarios on the fly. So yes, Grok 4 can produce simple charts or images by code if needed. Just ask what you need, plainly. Grok 4 will decide if a tool is needed, but you can also encourage tool use. For instance, if you want a well-researched answer with sources, you might say, use real-time web search to find the latest info on X and give me a summary with references. This nudges Grok to do a deeper search. In most cases, though, it's not necessary to mention if your query obviously requires fresh data, like today's news or latest stock price. Grok 4 will attempt to fetch it. For math or analysis, you can directly ask, calculate or simulate something, and Grok will likely invoke its internal calculator coder. You'll sometimes even see it mention, let me check that. And that's a clue. It's doing a quick compute. Also, when Grok does use a tool, you might notice a slight delay as it gathers info. It's usually pretty quick. XAI is targeting about 250 milliseconds latency for responses, but if it's doing a multi-step search, it could take a few seconds or more. Be patient, it's usually worth the thorough answer you get. Grok 4's built-in tools turn it into hybrid chat search code and assistant. You ask, it figures out how to answer by searching, calculating, etc., and then it delivers. This makes your workflow more seamless. While Grok handles research and code, instantly handles the other time sink, cold outreach. Copilot is Instantly's built-in AI assistant for outreach. Feed it your website or a PDF of your product offers to build a company memory, then just chat. Ask it to write a 4 to 5 step sequence, find lead in any niche, or summarize last week's performance. It drafts subject lines, bodies, and follow-ups, pulls targeted context via super search, suggests campaign ideas, and condenses your analytics. No more copy-pasting lists or filters. How to use it fast. Set up memory. Click the Copilot star, top left, memory, enter your URL or upload a PDF so it learns your ICP and tone. Ask for a sequence. New chat, write a 4-step sequence to book demos for our HR SaaS. You will get a tailored draft. Build lead lists. Find CFOs at mid-sized US tech companies. Open the list and add to a campaign in one click. Get ideas and analytics. Ask for fresh angles or weekly summary from your past campaigns. Say what you need, watch AI build, and hit launch. Instantly Copilot is the fastest path from idea to inbox. Big thanks to Instantly AI for sponsoring this video and supporting the channel. One of the flashiest new features of Grok 4 is the upgraded voice mode. If you've used the new ChatGPT voice, you know how convenient it is to talk to your AI instead of typing. Grok had a basic voice chat in earlier versions, but voice mode 2.0 is a whole new ballgame. It's smoother, more responsive, and a lot smarter. First, the voice itself. XAI introduced a new default voice for Grok that's pretty darn realistic. In the chat window, there's a voice mode toggle. Activate that and just start speaking. There's practically no delay. You can ask, what's a good recipe for pad thai? And it starts answering in about a second, talking through the steps. Grok 4 also gives you multiple voice options, essentially different actors that can speak for Grok. Originally, Grok's voice was a single default, the male voice mentioned above. Now we have 4 distinct voices to choose from, each with its own sound.
Hey there, what's up?
Yo, what's up? How can I help you today?
Hello there. What's on your mind today?
Grok 4's voice mode offers multiple personality settings that you can toggle for different scenarios: storyteller, romantic, dark, motivational, argumentative, conspiracy, etc. Even 18 plus modes like sexy and unhinged mode. One user had Grok's unhinged persona scream inhumanly for 30 seconds and call them names. It's the full crazy, not safe for work experience. In essence, you feel like you're talking to the AI version of the Split movie. And weirdly, that's exactly what makes it fun. And get this, Grok can now see through your camera during voice chats. This essentially turns Grok into a voice-guided, multimodal assistant. In voice mode, you'll see a camera icon. Tap it to enable Grok vision, then point your camera at whatever you want Grok to see. Grok will analyze the scene or text in real time and describe or answer questions about it. For example, if you ask Grok, "What does this error mean?" while showing an error message on your PC screen, Grok will read the text, OCR, and explain the issue.
A 404 error means the requested URL was not found on the server. This typically happens when the page has been moved, deleted, or the URL is incorrect.
This essentially turns Grok into a voice-guided multimodal assistant combining sight and speech. It's the same idea as GPT-4's vision feature, but in a real-time interactive way via voice. The possibilities here are huge. You can show Grok a math problem in a textbook, a sign in a foreign language, a piece of furniture you're assembling, and just ask about it. Grok combines its vision recognition with its language skills to help you out. Grok Vision is only available on the iOS app, but Android users can still use voice mode without the camera vision capability for now. Now let's talk about research. Digging up info and sources, Grok 4 has a feature called Deep Search that acts like an academic research assistant. If you've seen Deep Research mode in ChatGPT or Gemini, this is a similar idea. You'll find a Deep Search as one of the buttons in the toolbar near Grok logo. When you click it, Grok creates a workspace or project containing custom instructions that are written by XAI and locked. Using Deep Search effectively is all about how you frame your query. Be specific and give context. For example, instead of migraine treatments, ask, do a deep search on new treatments for migraines from 2021 onward, focusing on any that have FDA approval. That query has a clear time frame and focus. Grok will then search the web for exactly that and bring back targeted info. You can even add evidence base to your request if you wanted to prioritize scientific evidence or studies. After the search results come in, Grok will present an answer, usually with little citation numbers or footnotes linking to its sources. Another tip, if the initial deep search is too broad or brings back junk, tighten your query and criteria. You can specify only include official medical journals and ignore personal blogs, or focus on sources from the last 2 years. By stating those constraints up front, you cut out a lot of noise. The beautiful part is Grok remembers the context of the search and the chat, so every follow-up question refines or builds on it. You don't have to restate anything. You can say, now give me a 1-paragraph summary of the consensus, and it will do it. Just make sure you still critically evaluate the sources it gives. Grok is good at finding info, but you should click those footnote links and verify if something seems off. Sometimes the AI might misattribute a fact to source, rare, but can happen, so double check anything important. This is a feature that makes Grok 4 feel much more personal and context-aware, persistent memory, and custom workspaces. In earlier versions, Grok, like most chatbots, would forget everything once the conversation ended, unless you manually copy-pasted context over. Now, Grok 4 has an optional memory system that can remember past conversations and preferences, and workspaces that let you organize your AI life. It's like giving Grok a bit of long-term memory and a filing cabinet. By default, Grok 4 will remember what you've told it in previous chats if you have this feature turned on. XAI rolled this out as a beta where Grok personalizes responses over time. For instance, if before you mentioned to Grok that you are a vegetarian and you have memory enabled, then today you could ask, recommend me a dinner recipe, and Grok might recall, oh yeah, you don't eat meat, and give you a vegetarian recipe without you having to repeat that fact. It's pretty cool when it works. Basically, no more reintroducing yourself or reminding the bot of your project details every single session. In XAI's words, Grok now remembers previous conversations for more personalized responses. Of course, memory is a double-edged sword. If you enable it, Grok will start building up a profile of sorts, things you like, your writing style, facts you've given it about yourself or work. This can make its answers feel more tailored, but can also cause bleed through between unrelated topics if you're not careful. Imagine you had a chat about your personal travel plans and later a separate chat about a work project. If memory is on and global, Grok might cross-pollinate info. Hopefully it's smart enough to keep context separate, but it's not perfect. That's where workspaces come in handy. A workspace is like a dedicated context or environment for a particular topic or project. You can have a workspace for personal, another for work project A, another for learning Spanish, whatever you want. Each workspace groups related chats, any files you've uploaded for that topic, and even custom instructions for that workspace. It's so much better than juggling everything in one big thread or having to clear context all the time. For example, I have a coding helper workspace where I attach code files and have a system instruction like, you are a helpful coding assistant. I only put programming questions there. Then I have a blog writing workspace with an instruction, you help me write in a friendly tone, etc. This way, when I'm in the coding workspace, Grok isn't influenced by my blog writing style and vice versa. The memory stays relevant within each workspace. Using workspaces, you effectively sandbox Grok's memory. It will remember things within that workspace's conversations, but not spill over into others. And if you want to reset or clear memory for a fresh start, you can do that per workspace or overall via settings, data controls. In Grok's settings, there's a memory toggle. You can enable or disable personalized Grok with your conversation history. If you're privacy conscious or found it was getting things mixed up, you can leave it off. That was my initial recommendation in Grok 3 days. For workspaces, on the main chat screen, you will see an option like a plus new workspace or a drop-down of workspaces. Create one and give it a name. You can add a description or a custom system instruction like set in the persona or role for that workspace. Then, whatever chats you start inside that workspace stay there. You can upload files to a workspace like PDFs, images, CSVs, and they'll be accessible in that context without re-uploading every time. For example, in a research project workspace, you might upload 5 PDFs of research papers. Grok can reference them across multiple chats in that workspace. If you switch to another workspace, those files aren't in context unless you re-add them there. With memory on, I found Grok becoming more personalized. It started mirroring my writing style a bit because it remembered how I phrased things previously. It also stopped asking me basic questions again. If you share your account or device with someone, be careful with memory. It could mix contexts, like if my friend uses my Grok to ask something, that might get woven into my persona data. Ideally, keep your account to yourself or use separate workspaces for shared use. Sometimes Grok's recall isn't perfect. It might remember a detail incorrectly or conflate two things. Don't treat it as infallible. If it seems to be assuming something from memory that's wrong, you might need to correct it or clear that memory. Lastly, while memory is great, too much reliance on it can make the AI over-personalize. If you want an objective take or a fresh perspective, you might want to turn memory off or use a fresh workspace so it doesn't just echo your past preferences. It's like how your YouTube recommendations get skewed. Sometimes you want to step out of the bubble. Overall, memory and workspaces make Grok 4 a lot more user-friendly for ongoing use. It starts to feel less like a session-bound chatbot and more like a persistent assistant or coworker who knows your projects. Use memory to reduce repetition and use workspaces to keep things organized. It's the best of both worlds, continuity and separation when needed. In the chat interface, you probably noticed a menu or buttons for personas. These are one-click ways to change Grok's behavior or role. For instance, you might have personas like doctor, loyal friend, companion, etc. When you select one, Grok will immediately start responding as that persona, meaning it will take on the tone and knowledge domain of that specialty. This can be incredibly useful if you're asking a medical question. Switching to the doctor persona will make Grok give more clinical, fact-focused answers and avoid wacky speculation. If you want homework help, this persona might make it more terse and technical. You can also create custom personas manually by prompting act as an expert in something. Grok's persona feature basically saves you a step. It limits the AI's style and knowledge to the relevant domain, which often yields more factual and on-point answers. For example, if I switch to a doc persona and ask about health, Grok will frame the answer like doc advice with appropriate caveats, rather than a generic answer. And if you change personas mid-chat, Grok will immediately shift tone and phrasing to match the new role. So personas are your friend. For those willing to shell out for the Grok Super Grok heavy tier, there is an advanced version of Grok 4 that runs multiple AI agents in parallel to tackle a problem. Think of it as Grok cloning itself 8 or 16 times and forming a study group where all the clones compare answers and pick the best one. The result is more reliable solutions on really hard tasks at the cost of a bit more processing time and $300 a month price tag for heavy users. Ultimately, the tech is only as good as how you wield it. Grok 4, with all its bells and whistles, invites you to be creative, try things out, push its limits, combine features in novel ways. If this helped, join AI Master Pro for weekly lessons, built-in tools to turn AI into outcomes. Up to 50% off for a year plan, link below. Happy grokking, and I'll catch you in the next one.